U.S. lawmaker, war with China is a last resort, but if Americans support, Congress will authorize. He asked a friend about Kim Jong Un's uncle, led to 6 years in a Chinese jail. Tesla to open super battery factory in China. Hong Kong civil servants' resignation wave highest since 1997. A U.S. lawmaker from Texas said during his visit to Taiwan last week that war with the Chinese regime was a last resort, but if the American public backs it, Congress will send troops in case Beijing attacks the island. In the interview with Fox News, Representative Michael McCall said, "Conflict is always a last resort." He stressed that he and his fellow U.S. lawmakers had visited the self-governed democratic island to provide deterrence to China. U.S. top military officials have warned that Chinese leader Xi Jinping could look to invade Taiwan by 2027. Last year, President Joe Biden repeatedly said that U.S. forces would protect Taiwan if the Chinese communist regime attacked the island. McCall reaffirmed these warnings and emphasized that Congress is the only body with authority to order the use of force. McCall noted that if communist China invaded Taiwan, it would certainly be on the table and something that would be discussed by Congress and with the American people. Senator Graham also holds the same view as McCall on the Taiwan issue. During a Fox News interview on Sunday, April 9th, when asked if he supports sending U.S. forces to Taiwan, Graham said, "I'd be very much open to using U.S. forces to defend Taiwan because it's in our national security interest to do so." Michael McCall and U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy recently warned the U.S. to accelerate the delivery of arms to the island amid the Chinese Communist Party, CCP's military aggression. McCall went further when he pledged to provide training to Taiwan's military so that the island could defend itself against the CCP. In January, according to a war game from a noted U.S. bank think tank, the Chinese regime would be defeated in a conventional amphibious invasion of Taiwan. However, the victory would come at a cost to the U.S. Navy and Taiwan's economy. Hideki Suzuki had traveled back and forth between Japan and China for 3 decades, only to one day be kidnapped at Beijing airport. He was bundled into a white van, blindfolded, and his mobile phone was taken. Suzuki was on his way home to Japan from Beijing. As the Wall Street Journal reported, Suzuki was surrounded by 5 men after he arrived at the Beijing airport on the afternoon of July 15, 2016. He was told he was detained on suspicion of spying. Suzuki, now 66 years old, told the publication, "I couldn't believe it. In a civilized country, this shouldn't happen." He was the former president of the Japan-China Youth Exchange who had spent years in the affairs of Japan and China and taught Japanese to students at Beijing colleges for about 6 years. According to Safeguard Defenders, Suzuki would later spend 7 months detained and interrogated in residential surveillance at a secret location believed to be in the South Beijing district of Fangtai. To him, that period was the worst in his 6 years of detention. He told the WSJ that his room had very heavy curtains and never opened and bright lights that never turned off. He was forced to sit on a bed when he was not being questioned, and 2 men always kept an eye on him even when he used the toilet. Suzuki was convicted of espionage, which he denied. However, he only learned what led to the charges at his trial. One of the reasons authorities went after him was because he asked a friend, a Chinese official, about Kim Jong Un's uncle's execution in 2013 at the Beijing restaurant. Intelligence authorities had also heard about him from other Chinese people he met through his youth exchange activities. He told the WSJ, "It was sad, but he couldn't be helped, I told myself." Suzuki said he knew why his Chinese friends would stand up against him. Upsetting security authorities, he said, would hinder even the person's grandchildren from attending a college. After completing his terms, he returned to Japan last October, having lost 40 pounds during his imprisonment. According to Safeguard Defenders, he had learned that at least 16 other Japanese men have been arrested in China on espionage grounds since 2015, of which one man in his 70s had died in prison. The stakes of unexpected imprisonment in China are grave enough that Japan's foreign ministry advises that any form of survey or research may be a cause for spy prosecution. In addition, security specialists warn that business people should evade Chinese officials and politics, especially tricky topics like Taiwan, Hong Kong, or COVID.
Tesla tweeted that it would open another mega factory for battery production in Shanghai, China, reported Forbes on April 9th. Tesla is an American company. The relationship between the US and China could have been better lately, but this event helped deepen Tesla's relationship with the Chinese market. Tesla CEO Elon Musk tweeted that the Shanghai plant will supplement output of the Megapack factory in California. A Megapack is a massive battery that can help stabilize energy grids and prevent power outages. Tesla says its large lithium battery product for power plants can power about 3,600 homes for an hour. The plant in Shanghai will be able to produce 10,000 Megapack energy storage units annually. Tesla did not say when its Shanghai factory would open, but China's state news agency Xinhua said the factory would break ground later this year and open next year. The article said that China is an important market for Tesla. In recent months, Tesla has slashed car prices to better compete with rivals in China. However, the firm has always been under the observation of the US and the media regarding its activities in China. In January last year, Tesla was criticized for opening a showroom in the Xinjiang region. Xinjiang is an autonomous region where China has detained thousands of members of the predominantly Muslim Uyghur ethnic group and other minorities. The paper said both the Trump and Biden administrations accused China of committing genocide in the region. Senator Marco Rubio said Tesla's Xinjiang move was helping the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, cover up genocide and slave labor. The Union of American Manufacturers called the decision especially brazen, and the Council on American Islamic Relations disagreed with Tesla's battery showroom opening in a sensitive area for human rights. Forbes says Elon Musk, Tesla's CEO who has a $187.9 billion fortune, will visit China this April to meet China's new premier, Li Qiang.
After the anti-extradition movement in Hong Kong, the establishment of the national security law, and the mandatory oath of allegiance for Hong Kong civil servants, the number of civil servants resigning has increased. The number of civil servants resigning in 2021-2022 hit a new high since Hong Kong was handed over to China in 1997, with 3,734 quitting. In particular, the number of civil servants nearing retirement age who resign is twice as high as in 2020-2021. Hong Kong Civil Service Bureau recently revealed that 3,734 civil servants resigned from 2021 to 2022, double the number from 2020 to 2021 and tripling from 2017 to 2018. Many Hong Kong police resigned. Hong Kong Intellectual Property Department has the highest resignation rate. In terms of numbers, Hong Kong police force had 313 resignations from 2021 to 2022, the highest among Hong Kong government agencies. Regarding the resignation rate, the Hong Kong Intellectual Property Department ranked first. 15 people left the department from 2021 to 2022, 11 more than the previous year, accounting for almost 8% of all resignations. Hong Kong Television ranked second, with 42 people resigning, 2.5 times more than last year. Hong Kong Television has been purged by the Communist Party in recent years, especially when Li Baichuan became its director in March 2021. After Li took office, he established an editorial board to review the TV show production. Among them, TV shows such as Hong Kong Connection, This Week, and Hong Kong Stories required approval before broadcast. Many Hong Kong television staff resigned after Li took office, including Wang Luxia, public relations director of the TV department. At that time, it was reported that Li Xianzhu, who had won the Human Rights Press Awards, had his coverage of the June 4th massacre denied. Hong Kong television was ordered to only report on people's livelihood problems, eventually leading to Li Xianzhu's resignation. As Hong Kong television reported, from March to May, after Li Baichuan took office, 18 civil servants resigned. 129 people refused to sign the coercive oath of allegiance. At the end of 2020, the Hong Kong government began requiring civil servants to take an oath. In addition, they had to sign a declaration supporting the Basic Law, pledging allegiance to the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Eric Tsang, director of the Hong Kong Constitutional and Mainland Affairs Bureau, answered before the Legislative Council last year that 129 civil servants ignored, refused to sign, or returned the declaration without reasonable explanation. All those employees had left the government service on or before the end of 2021. Hu Hongjun, former senior scientific director of the Hong Kong Observatory, once stated that he resigned because he refused to take the oath and pointed out the implementation of the Hong Kong national security law. The oath is responsible for the civil servant's resignation wave.